This is episode 2 of documenting my journey building my software company to 100k a month. Now, episode 2, last episode, we kind of went over everything I was doing in the past few days. I want to make one of these, every few days or so, maybe every 2 or 3 days. Obviously, to document my journey, to kind of look back, and see what mistakes I was making, see where I could improve, etc. But really solid few days. I forget when the last one was. I think it was 2 days ago. Very solid couple of days. Kept the high frequencies, which was a big one. I can't lie. Yesterday evening, I was in not low frequencies, but I wasn't as in high frequencies as I should have been. A reason for that was none of the leads that I was kind of talking to were really responding because it was Saturday evening, which is okay. It's part of the journey. Just being honest, you kind of have to document all of your losses too. I think that's something where I went wrong on in the past. I never really documented my journeys. I was only kind of thinking about my wins and kind of telling people about my wins. But it's okay to lose. It's not, actually. It's not okay to lose. But it's okay to kind of learn from your mistakes. I don't know why I said that. It's not okay to lose. I do not like losing, and it is not okay to lose. But I believe if you do make mistakes, look back on them and kind of improve from them. But yeah, trying to keep the high frequencies every single day. Just keep the high frequencies up. The higher frequencies I have, the more money I make. It's just like an equation. It's like my frequencies are high, I make a lot of money. And it just works like that. For some reason, it works like that. It's the way like the universe kind of rewards you, I believe, by being in high frequencies. The way I look at it is that there's two universes. There's two kind of worlds that we live in. We can either live in a universe where we're in low frequencies, we're always thinking about the bad stuff in life, we're not happy the whole time. And there's another universe where all of our dreams come true and we're in really high frequencies. And I like to, tap into the second universe, the second dimension. Yesterday evening, I was in the first one. I was kind of down, thinking about all my mistakes. And I was kind of just thinking, why is no one replying to me? Why are none of my leads replying to me? Why are none of them closing? And then, you kind of just have to avoid that. That's the first universe, I believe. The second universe is the one where you're in high frequencies the whole time and, you're always winning. And obviously, I try to be in that every single day, every single second of the day. But, sometimes it doesn't happen like that, which I'm trying to work on. But a couple of things to kind of discuss. Right now, we are at 24.8k in monthly recurring revenue. 2 days ago, I believe, we were at 24.3, which isn't as big of a growth as I would have liked to see in 2 days. It's like 500 monthly recurring revenue. It's not huge. To be honest, tomorrow I have about 16 sales calls. And in the next video I make, so episode 3, I want to be at 26k MRR. By the end of the week, I want to be at 30k MRR. It's a big, it's ambitious, but I believe if you don't set good goals, you're not going to achieve anything. What they say, aim for the moon, land on the stars, or some shit like that. I don't know how it goes. Something like that, anyway. That's what I'm trying to do. So, goal for the end of the week is 30k MRR. Let's see if I hit it. And I'm excited for that. Anyway, a few things to kind of talk about. We're growing right now by doing a lot of the hard shit. Sending manual DMs. We are growing now because I am kind of up working all night. And I'm not taking any breaks. I'm not... I have a very small work-life balance, and that's something I want to touch into today, is how I believe if you're still in Ireland, or there's nothing wrong with being in Ireland, by the way, but if you're still at home living with your parents and you're still working on something, work-life balance shouldn't even be in the equation. You shouldn't even have a life. That sounds bad, but you shouldn't be going out every weekend thinking, this is balance. There's no balance whenever you're like trying to make it. There's no balance. There was a period in my life, I think October until maybe March, I might have went out once at Christmas. but I think that was it. And I was just working the whole time. I'd hardly seen my friends in that period, and obviously that's not a good thing to do. Kind of just, I didn't enjoy that. But I thought it was something that had to be done, and I couldn't really sit with myself thinking, going out with friends whenever there was work to be done. I want to check if this is still recording. Hold on. Yeah, cool. I want to make these videos as raw and authentic as possible. So there's going to be no cuts or nothing. So, yeah. If you're still in the building phase in life and you're still trying to make something happen, work-life balance shouldn't even be a thing. You should just be working all day. No balance. Just working. And when I say working, I mean from 7, 8 in the morning until fucking 11 and 12 at night. And not really doing much in between. If you do that for 6 months straight, you are going to make so much fucking money, so much progress. Me right now, I could be so much, higher in life, higher in the business stage. I believe I should be, because I did put in that work. And I believe also blaming yourself for everything in your life is something you have to do. It's my fault that I'm not at 50k a month right now. It's your fault right now that you're making no money online. It's your fault that nothing's working for you. It's all your fault. If you take responsibility for that, instead of blaming other people, that's when you start to win. That's when you start to make the money moves, to, make money, is when you start blaming yourself for, things that don't happen in your life. If you're fat or if you're really skinny, blame yourself. Me right now, I'm not where I want to be physically with my physique, but I'm not going to blame something else. I'm not going to blame being busy or working on a business for it. I'm going to take full accountability for that. I'm blaming myself for that. I should have worked harder in the past 6 months on my diet. And it was my diet because I was going to the gym consistently, so it's just my diet. And now I'm fixing that. I'm working on it. Blame yourself for everything that you do in life. If something doesn't work out, blame yourself for it. It's no one else's fault, only your own. And whenever you start to take that accountability, that's when you start to see the real results in life. Start to blame yourself and you'll see a lot more results. Second thing, or third thing, I don't know, I'm not really counting, that I want to go over is, what is it? Yeah. How important it is to surround yourself with good people. When you surround yourself with good people that are working constantly on their dreams, on their goals, there is no way that you don't win. There's a saying, and it says, for every you are the equation of the four. No, I don't want to butcher it. Let me get it right. You are the equation of the 5 people you spend the most time with. So let's say you have 5 really close friends and you spend the most time with them. You're going to be the average of those friends. If those friends are really fat and just do nothing with their life, you're going to be the 6th one. And it just works like that. That's just kind of life. That's just kind of how it happens. So surround yourself with good people, especially if you're building something online. Move away somewhere with a couple of fellas that are dialed in, that are working. Me personally, I'm living out here with 2 guys, and all they do is work. Just work. And if you see them working and pushing really hard in the gym, you're going to do the exact same thing. I'll give you another example. I'm living out here with a guy who made really good progress in the gym over the past 6 months, and all he does, or not all he does, but he's really consistent with eating and also pushing really hard in the gym. I've never seen anyone who pushes harder than him in the gym. And it's not even about the weights that you lift, the heavy weights. It's about him giving it his 100% effort. And it mightn't even be the most efficient way. He said this himself. It mightn't even be the most efficient way of building muscle. But it's just good for him, In his mind, I think he said something 70% of the reason he goes to the gym is for his mind. It's for building mental toughness. The other 30% is, the physique, which is what most people go to the gym for. He just goes super hard with like all the gyms, all the sets, every single set, failure, every single set. And as he said himself, it mightn't be the most efficient way of doing it, but it pushes him to his mental limit, and I think that's what a lot of people should be doing also, pushing themselves to the limit. So that's really it for this video, I suppose. Next video, if I'm not at 26k MRR, I might cry or something. I don't really know. I'm gonna be very sad if I'm not, but I know I will be. I'm envisioning that, and by the end of the week I'll be at 30k a month. Mark my words, I'll be at 30k MRR by the end of the month. And as soon as we hit 30k, I'm flying out my setter to Malaga to celebrate. We're gonna rent a boat or something. It's gonna be a nice time. But yeah, thanks for listening. Hope you found some value out of this, because this has been good. This has been nice. I enjoy making these videos. I'm gonna make a lot more of them. So yeah, hope you find some value out of this. And yeah, have a blessed day, boys.